everyone. We are back, and this is a Gutsy guinea pig episode. Hello, Laura and Scott.
Hey,
Hello.
how are you doing?
We are great. This is going to be fun, Laura. Are you ready?
I am ready. Yes.
You look ready.
That is too much energy, Laura.
Love it. She's already dancing, and we just started.
And she's demonstrating great communication too, which I'm getting ahead of myself. So.
Well, I will give a brief intro. Laura, let's introduce you to everyone. Laura focuses on coaching women, helping women to be more confident and more successful in the workplace. Laura, we need more of you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I love what I do.
Yes, and it shows. I was thrilled when we met. So, Laura, we're going to ask you a question. Are you ready for this?
Go ahead.
We're going to ask you a question, and we would love for you to give us a succinct answer. And I think you know the drill. Scott and I are going to be observing, and we will provide some valuable feedback afterward. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so here's the question, Laura. Could you give us one tip for how women can be more successful and confident in the workplace?
Okay, one. I'll use an example of somebody that actually was just in one of my training classes, and she used this. She asked for a raise, and then she stopped talking. My tip is ask for what you want and then stop, because too often what we do is say, I know it's not the right time. I know it's not budget time or whatever. So if you have to almost feel like you've got tape over your mouth, just stop talking and wait for the other person. That's my one tip.
That's a great tip.
Thank you. Go ahead and use it.
That's not just a great tip. It was great delivery too.
Yes, it was very succinct and clear.
Thank you. Thank you. I practice that a lot, but I appreciate all of the feedback you can give me.
Wait, you say you practice that. You mean you tell me more.
Okay. Well, so I have been delivering in person and, on Zoom for years and years and years. So I've practiced. But the other thing is sometimes people think, oh, I just get up and I just spout out. I practice for hours. I write things down. I record myself. So what looks easy is actually the result of lots and lots of practice.
Yeah. It's interesting because we talk about practice in two ways. There's practice in a traditional sense often actually means I'm trying to commit words to memory. Right? Yeah. And I figured you no. Now that's not what I do. There's also a type of practice where you just kind of handle the information in your brain. You write, you talk, you just, I've never come up with the best way to describe it, but I need to handle the information over and over again. And then when it's time to talk, it comes down. Yes.
Okay. So that's it. So especially when I'm dealing with a big crowd, I'm really nervous. And so I just practice saying the same thing over and over for the first 1 minute, because I know that my stage fright will go away after the first 1 minute. So if the first 1 minute is on autopilot, by that time it kicks in and I can start the presentation.
Yeah. Yep. Beautiful.
Okay. I have an observation around the delivery. Scott, did you want to add anything else?
Well, why don't you go, because I just want to layer things on here like a delicious cake.
A delicious cake. I love it. Okay, Laura, when you shared that tip, I loved how short and concise and to the point that you made it. That's what makes a message memorable. That's what makes it able to stick. Love it. May I provide you a tip on even taking that message to the next level?
Oh, please. Yes.
You have this abundance of energy and it shows through. To me, it comes across as passion for what you do. Now, especially on Zoom video, when we gesture a lot. Oh, do you know this?
No. I know I gesture too much. So please give me feedback on it.
When there's a lot of gestures and it's our hands mirroring each other, they're kind of just doing the same thing, it can become a distraction for the audience. I don't want your audience to have any distractions because what you have to say is really important. I want their focus to be completely on you. Now, gestures are really important. They need to be intentional. This is not intentional. Make them more intentional with the message. So I would love to hear you share this tip one more time. Can you keep one hand under your leg and just gesture with the other? And let's see the difference.
Oh, I'd love to do that. Okay. Can I just do that now?
Sure.
Excellent. Okay. So my one tip, I'm going to take it from somebody that was just in one of my training classes. She used this tip in order to get a raise. And what she did is she asked for a raise and then stopped talking. That was it. Because what we do most of the time is we go ahead and ask, and then we say, I know it's not the right time. I know we don't have budget, something like that. But by stopping and being silent, it doesn't give the other person an out. So that's my suggestion for you. Ask and then stop talking.
Okay, Laura, thank you so much. Something else just happened.
What?
A good thing.
Oh, good. Okay.
She's scared.
I know. No. Don't be scared. It's just us. Okay. Because your gestures were more controlled, your speaking pace also slowed down a bit.
A little bit.
You know what? You are right. I noticed that, and I wasn't really thinking about it, but I have never tried only gesturing with one hand, and I really love this. This is what I'm going to be doing from now on. This is a great
You can
tip.
rotate, Laura. You can rotate. You can bring up the other hand.
I will do that.
I love that though, because when we move our hands really quickly, it picks up our speaking pace at the same time.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Actually, it's funny. I have a presentation tonight and I'm going to be using that. So thank you.
I love it.
And remember, this is for our audience too. So you said earlier, I gesture too much. And I think the answer is not really. It's not gesturing too much. It's a little bit more of how they're upside kind of here. They're in, your hand gestures are for your listeners.
Because I want to build on what you said, because I recognize the second time, instead of my hand gestures being out here, building on what Jen said, my hand gestures were right here.
Yes.
And so again, it connected more with the audience rather than being out here. And so I'm going to be really aware of that going forward. And I'm sorry, Jen, you were saying something about the pause.
I was just, the second time you went, you interjected a pause that was longer than any pause from the first time you went through. Pausing is beautiful. It really helps the audience to catch up with what you're saying, to follow along. Pauses are great.
Yeah. I can tell you're an awesome listener.
How?
You are demonstrating active listening. You demonstrate it really well. I love how throughout this whole time, you communicate while we're talking with a lot of, you can see the intention to really not just hear what we're saying, but to listen closely. And I think that's part of why you're such a good communicator.
No. Scott, I really appreciate it. And that's funny because one of the things I teach is active listening. And that was partially because I was a really lousy listener. And I really had to learn it because I just interrupted everybody before that. And it really did not go very well. Ooh. So I really appreciate you noticing that. Thank you.
Yeah, is that another tip on how to be successful in the workplace for women?
Now it is. Yes. It really took. Well, I got to say, though, it's a success tip for everybody. However, what I find more of what I have to tell women is speak up. So it's many of them don't have a problem listening at all. It's them actually making statements and not saying, do you think we should do that? Do you think we should do this? And actually speaking up. So I would say both.
Bold. Love it. Laura's website is careertipsforwomen.com. Easy to remember. Laura, is there anything you'd like to add or share with us about your business, what you do?
Yes. Okay. So first of all, I've written 10 books. I've written on communication. I've written on some other things. I have online training programs for confidence and communication and getting what you want. I also have one-on-one coaching, and I have something you can sign up just to get weekly tips, because I know a lot of people say, oh, I don't have time for training. I don't have time for coaching, but you do have time for quick tips.
How do we get your tips?
Oh, it's just if you go to the website, and then there's a list of information on the the classes and the coaching, and there's one that says career tips, and you can just sign
Ooh.
up for it.
Careertipsforwomen.com. Love it. An author for 10 books of 10. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Now I just feel like a slouch.
We're
What am I doing with
inadequate.
my extra time?
It's because I love it. I love to read and I love to write and I love to share.
Wow.
So
So valuable. Laura, we cannot thank you enough for being our guinea pig. You
Yeah.
were amazing. Wonderful to work with.
Yes.
thank you. You guys made it easy. I was a little nervous, I have to admit, but you made it easy and I love the tip and I'm going to be using it tonight. So thanks so much.
You're welcome.
You did great. Okay,
All right.
next week, Scott,
Yep.
do you remember or do I need to share?
No, I think I remember, even though this is very hard for me, Jen.
That's why I asked.
I know. We are going to be talking about how to involve your audience more, how to get them involved in the presentation, how to bring them in and invite them in to be a part of it. How was that? Did
Love
I do
it.
that?
Beautiful.
There we go.
Perfect.
All right.
Hey, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. We'll
Yep.
see you soon.
Thanks, Laura.
Thank you.
Bye, Laura.
Bye.